Screen Rant said, when did Ahsoka train Sabine? All clues in Star Wars canon.
That'd be nice to know.
The master and
Off-screen.
apprentice relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine has been fully established, but raises questions of when exactly they trained. Do you remember, for people that have seen Rebels here, can any of you remember any implies that she was going to train
No.
Sabine as a Jedi?
No. Never shown.
I don't remember that.
No,
Please
me neither. Yeah, Ahsoka raised the question of when the former Jedi, she never became a
Former
Jedi.
what? What was that?
In the promo material, they keep on referring to her as a Jedi or as a Jedi Knight, in which case she left the Jedi Order. She never achieved knighthood, so she is a former Jedi. She just is never a Jedi Knight.
Yep, but I'm really interested to know how where all the proof is there. And I know you need to go in some minutes, Kilted. I just want to finish
keep going. I want to see this article. Go.
Oh, you really want to?
Yeah,
really? Okay.
me too, but we'll finish this.
I've got to hear this nonsense.
The galaxy is still recovering from the Galactic Civil War and the New Republic, as vulnerable as ever. Ahsoka wants to rid the New Republic of Thrawn's threat before it's too late. Along the way, she recruits those she trusts most in the galaxy, notably the familiar and beloved Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars Rebels character Sabine Wren is setting up Ahsoka's journey to finding Thrawn and Ersa. The master and apprentice relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine was fully established.
When? Where?
When?
You know,
yeah, I have this question. Are the comics of it that I never knew about?
What?
Calm down.
Is there... Okay.
Sabine training to be a Jedi has been teased in promotional teasers and trailers for the series. We know that. But Ahsoka episode 1 and 2 have gone into depth on the fractured relationship between the two women. Ahsoka reveals that she walked away from Sabine's training.
That's in depth.
That's in depth. That doesn't tell us when it happened, why it happened. It doesn't tell us about Sabine being force sensitive, which was nowhere in the show in the Rebels.
I've seen Screen make some reaches, but damn.
Just as she walked away from her own when she found herself becoming too challenged by Sabine's stubbornness.
Okay, it still doesn't tell us when it doesn't still tell us when this happened.
Yep. With Ahsoka taking viewers over 10 years away from the final of Star Wars Rebels, the question of when exactly Ahsoka trained Sabine is left unanswered. Okay. Ahsoka trained Sabine after the events of Star Wars Rebels. News of Sabine being trained as a Jedi shocked viewers. It didn't shock us. It's Disney. They will do what? It's Dave Filoni too, you know. When it was
more so a groan than it was a shock.
Yes. It was revealed for Ahsoka which places her training after the events of Star Wars Rebels. Sabine also shares in Ahsoka episode 2 that the lightsaber she trains with is the one Ersa had left to her in Rebels Final, which wouldn't have been possible had her training started before that point. Even Rogue One, a Star Wars story, shared hint about this timeline, as both Hera, Syndulla, and Chopper were present at the rebel base of Yavin, while Sabine and Ahsoka were absent from the action.
That's a reach.
Just because two characters are not present during the events of a movie doesn't mean that they're not there. They're not.
Yeah, Frost is like, where? Yeah.
Just because they're not called out by name doesn't mean they're not there. For the love of God.
And then, they're fully like making crap up in their own headcanon. You know, they weren't on screen, so that's where they were. They were off.
Even Cash and Kilted, how do you feel so far?
Even if you didn't watch all of Rebels, if you watch enough of it, you can see Sabine and Ezra had a friendship, and like Chris said, there was probably a possibility of them maybe even having more than that.
Where is this Filoni? Yes.
I don't I feel like Filoni is, I might be wrong about this, but I feel like Filoni is taking what happened in Rebels and then let's change some things, and it just doesn't
But
make
he does that a lot.
He does.
He does it all the time.
Filoni,
He did it with Ahsoka with the Jedi series.
Yes,
he did the same thing there.
He did the same exact thing to Ahsoka's origin. They did the same exact thing to the Ahsoka novel. He did the same exact thing with the.
He did it to the novel too. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
He completely changed. He completely changed what happened in the Ahsoka novel. So the Ahsoka novel, throw it out the window because it makes no sense.
He does it his own material. He's done that for a long time.
The entire season 7 is completely reworked from what he originally had planned, including the Mandalorian, the Siege of Mandalore arc.
Yep. So it
because originally, according to the Ahsoka novel, Ahsoka had her green lightsabers. She didn't have blue. She buried them with clones. Both of them. They weren't lost. Rex took the computer chip out of his head before the Siege of Mandalore. So he wasn't affected by Order 66.
Yep.
Ahsoka and Rex were captured by ray shields, and that's how Maul was able to escape. Not they captured him. He escaped from Mandalore. He wasn't captured.
Yep. Wow. And also, I just want to kill it. How do you feel so far?
This article is nonsensical clickbait, full of speculation based on an implied throwaway line.
What this says to me is,
and the article gets better. Oh, good lord!
What this article says to me is, well, it says it in the canon because we came up with a bullshit story that says it's in the canon.
No, they're saying it could have happened because we didn't see them, right? That's what this article.
That's a argument. You know that.
I'm saying the whole show. It's circular. This whole article is circular thinking. It proves it in canon because we said it's in canon.
So it's implied. Ahsoka trained Sabine for years. When?
Because of a throwaway line.
Is this what Ahsoka was doing instead of? Is this what Ahsoka was?
That is a reach.
Is this what Ahsoka was doing? Training Sabine instead of fighting with Luke, Leia, and Han to help save the rebellion?
Looks like it. Looks like it.
That's what the article says.
Yep. The nature of Ahsoka and Sabine's relationship in Ahsoka implies that they work together for a long duration of time before walking away from it all. By the time Ahsoka is seen in The Mandalorian Season 2, she no longer has Sabine as a Padawan, which seemingly takes place at last a year or two before Ahsoka. On the contrary, it could be possible that Ahsoka was training Sabine throughout the duration of the Galactic Civil War. What?
So again, instead of helping the rebellion, instead of helping Luke, Han, and Leia, instead of connecting with her master's children, she was on some outer rim world that the Empire had no intention of looking at while they were fighting the rebellion. Because as the epilogue of Rebels says, because the end of Rebels is close to the Battle of Yavin, Sabine in the epilogue says, we were expecting an attack by the Empire. It never came.
Yep.
So that tells us that the Empire did not care about Lothal because they had their attention focused on more important things like the rebellion.
Yep. So the article continues, which would indicate why neither were seen assisting or leading rebellion efforts at the time.
Yeah, because Ahsoka and Sabine abandoned the rebellion.
Yep.
That's what it says. That's what they're saying here.
Yep. Training is a scarred part of a Jedi journey, and with Ahsoka knowing how difficult it was to be trained like a soldier during a war, she may have wanted to spare Sabine from receiving the same treatment.
May have, possibly, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
So this is their their answer for it.
Again, circular thinking. It explains it in canon because we made it canon.
There had to be, because of that one line, and then we're going to write an article about it. We'll spin it the way we want to. Okay.
So any final thoughts about this?
Nah.
Brave and progressive. There you go. Yeah.
It's bullshit.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Clickbait title. It could be possible. May have.
At all.
It's
right.
And sometimes there's nothing wrong with speculation and theories, but going that far to make excuses, it just
The entertainment media like to do, though.
But we know they implied. We know that they said in the show that she's been trained before by Ahsoka. We know that, but we don't know when and how, and it makes no sense at all.
Right.
And now, as far as I know, they are back together, and she's gonna, start training again as a Jedi, even though she doesn't have the Force or anything.
So when does she die? Because we don't have her in by the time of the Force Awakens, or unless she went off with Ahsoka into parts unknown.
Yeah, they did imply something with the different universe stuff with Between Worlds stuff. So
it's an odd line. I'm gonna have to I think I might actually watch the 2 episodes again just to get a better feel of what the witch says.
I don't really understand what the hell's going on with Star Wars anymore. And you know what? And throughout the show, I guess we may not see like Chopper again. Chopper is such a badass droid. I like his sarcasm and all the time.
Well, I'm kind of curious as to what happened to the other droid that was like partnered up with Chopper.
Oh, that's right. There was another droid, wasn't there?
Because I mean, I was at first, I didn't care for Chopper much until that droid came in. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the best R2 C3PO alternative, because they were both sassy and assholes to each other, which like this is like the bad mirrored version of R2 and C3PO.
Yeah, I like Chopper because Chopper's such a sarcastic droid. He just plays tricks on people and stuff. I like that in Rebels. But yeah, there was another droid. Filoni is definitely obsessed with Ahsoka, and if he is, obviously, as I was having discussion earlier, a feminist. If he's actually a feminist, like he claims to be, I haven't looked into it enough, but I guess he has said that he's a feminist.
Well, he does have a vagina.